In many religious traditions, there is a story about angels who were once close to God but turned away and became fallen angels. The term fallen angels refers to beings who were originally created by God as powerful and good, but they rebelled against Him. This rebellion led to their fall from grace. In the Bible, the most famous story is that of Lucifer, an archangel who was cast out of heaven after trying to take God's place. Lucifer, who later became known as Satan, was followed by many other angels who chose to rebel with him. These angels were then thrown out of heaven and became known as fallen angels or demons. The Book of Revelation also talks about a great battle between good angels and evil angels, resulting in the defeat of the fallen ones, who were cast down to earth. The story of fallen angels is not just in the Bible. It also appears in other religious texts, like the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text that talks about angels called the Watchers. These angels left heaven, came to earth, and taught humans forbidden knowledge, such as how to use magic and weapons. Their actions led to their punishment and their being bound in chains. Throughout history, the idea of fallen angels has sparked many questions and beliefs about good versus evil, the influence of these angels on humanity, and the future judgment of these rebellious beings. Today, we will explore what happened to these fallen angels according to various religious stories, and how their fate still affects our understanding of good and evil in the world. The story of the fallen angels begins in the Bible, in the book of Genesis. In Genesis 6:1-4, it talks about angels, sometimes called the sons of God, who came down from heaven to earth. These angels saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they decided to marry them. They had children with these human women, and their children became known as the Nephilim. The Nephilim were giants, and they were known for being very powerful and violent. This act of angels taking human wives was considered wrong, because the angels were not meant to interfere with humans in this way. They broke God's laws, which led to their punishment. God saw how the world was becoming full of corruption and violence because of the Nephilim and the angels' actions. As a result, God decided to punish these angels and bring judgment upon them. This story shows how disobedience to God can lead to serious consequences. In the book of Revelation, another part of the Bible, the story of the fallen angels is told in a different way. In Revelation 12:7-9, it describes a great battle in heaven. The archangel Michael and his angels fought against a group of rebellious angels, led by Lucifer, who had turned against God. Lucifer, who was once a powerful angel, wanted to take God's place. This led to a war in heaven, and Lucifer and his angels were defeated. They were thrown out of heaven and cast down to earth. The Bible says that Lucifer, now known as Satan, and his fallen angels were cast down to earth as punishment for their rebellion. Since then, Satan and his angels have been working against God's plan, causing harm and leading people away from the truth. The fallen angels are often seen as demons who influence people to do evil things. The story of the fallen angels in the Bible is a warning about the consequences of disobedience and rebellion against God. It shows that even powerful beings like angels are not above God's laws, and that those who turn away from Him face punishment. The fate of the fallen angels also reminds us of the ongoing battle between good and evil that affects us today. Lucifer was once one of the most powerful and beautiful angels in heaven. He was created by God to serve and praise Him, and he held a high position among the heavenly beings. Lucifer's name means light bringer, or morning star, which shows how important and glorious he was. However, despite all the good things God gave him, Lucifer began to feel proud and wanted more. He wanted to be as powerful as God, or even greater than God. Lucifer's desire for power and control led him to rebel against God. He gathered a group of angels who also followed him in his plan to overthrow God. Lucifer convinced these angels that they could challenge God's authority and take control of heaven. This rebellion was not a small act. It was a direct challenge to God's rule. Lucifer wanted to become the ruler of heaven, replacing God, and this was a serious act of disobedience. The Bible describes Lucifer's rebellion in Isaiah 14:12, 15, and Ezekiel 28:12, 19. In Isaiah, it says that Lucifer thought to himself, "I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will make myself like the Most High." These words show how Lucifer wanted to take God's place and rule heaven himself. But God did not allow this rebellion to succeed. In Revelation 12:7-9, we learn that Lucifer's rebellion led to a great battle in heaven. Michael, the archangel, and his angels fought against Lucifer and his followers. The battle ended with Lucifer and his rebellious angels being defeated and cast out of heaven. They were thrown down to earth as punishment for their disobedience. Lucifer's fall from grace is one of the most important stories in the Bible. It explains how Satan, the enemy of God, came into existence. Lucifer's pride and desire for power led to his downfall, and he became known as Satan, the adversary. His rebellion also led to the downfall of many other angels who followed him. These angels became fallen angels, or demons, and they now work against God's plan for the world. The story of Lucifer's rebellion is a warning about the dangers of pride and disobedience. It shows how turning away from God can lead to great destruction and loss. The Book of Enoch is an ancient text that gives a more detailed story about the fallen angels, also known as the Watchers. Although it is not included in the Bible, it is an important book in certain religious traditions. It is considered an apocryphal book, meaning it was not accepted into the canon of the Bible. However, the Book of Enoch has had a significant influence on how people understand the story of the fallen angels. In the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels are described in much greater detail than in the Bible. According to the story, a group of angels called the Watchers were sent to earth to watch over humans. However, the Watchers became tempted by the beauty of human women and decided to take them as wives. These angels then had children with the human women, and their offspring were the Nephilim, a race of giants known for their strength and violence. The Book of Enoch tells us that the Watchers didn't just take human wives. They also taught humanity many forbidden things. The fallen angels passed on knowledge to humans that God had not intended for them to know. This included teaching people about magic, astrology, and how to make weapons. These teachings led to great corruption and violence on earth, as the Nephilim grew powerful and began causing chaos. One of the most important parts of the Book of Enoch is its explanation of why the fallen angels were punished. God saw the evil that had spread because of the Watchers and their teachings. As a result, he decided to punish the angels by binding them in chains and casting them into the abyss, a dark, empty place. This was seen as a way to stop the spread of their corrupt influence on earth. The influence of the Book of Enoch is seen in many later religious writings. It helped shape ideas about angels, demons, and the spiritual realm, and it had an impact on early Christian teachings. Although the Book of Enoch is not in the Bible, its stories of the fallen angels have inspired many people and continue to be studied by those interested in understanding the deeper mysteries of the Bible and the spiritual world. The fate of the fallen angels is a topic that has been interpreted in different ways across various religious texts. Some scriptures say that certain fallen angels were locked away in a dark, empty place called the abyss, while others suggest that some of these angels are still free, roaming the earth and causing trouble as demons. In the Bible, particularly in the book of Jude and 2 Peter, we are told that some of the fallen angels were bound in chains and placed in the abyss. The abyss is a place of darkness, far away from the world, where the angels cannot escape. These angels are said to be held there as punishment for their disobedience and corruption. In the book of Jude, it says, "The angels who did not keep their positions of authority but abandoned their proper dwelling, these he has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment on the great day." This suggests that these angels will remain locked away until the final judgment day, where they will be punished for their rebellion against God. On the other hand, other scriptures, especially in the New Testament, describe how some fallen angels, like Lucifer, now known as Satan, roam freely and actively work against God's will. In Revelation 12:9, it talks about how Satan, along with his angels, was cast out of heaven and sent to the earth. It is believed that these fallen angels, or demons, have the ability to influence and tempt humans to do evil. They are often seen as spirits that roam the earth, spreading lies, causing harm, and leading people away from God. The idea of fallen angels roaming the earth is a common belief in many Christian traditions. Satan and his demons are often seen as forces that oppose God and are involved in spiritual warfare. They try to lead people into sin and away from the truth of God's teachings. In this view, these angels are not locked away, but are free to carry out their destructive work. Both ideas, angels locked away and demons roaming the earth, show different aspects of the fallen angels' fate. Some have been imprisoned for their actions, while others continue to cause harm, waiting for the day when they will finally face judgment. Both ideas remind us of the serious consequences of rebellion against God. The Nephilim were the children born from the unions between fallen angels and human women, according to the Bible and the Book of Enoch. In Genesis 6:1-4, it is said that the sons of God, the fallen angels, saw that the daughters of men were beautiful and took them as wives. The offspring of these unions were the Nephilim, a race of giants known for their strength and violence. The Bible doesn't give much detail about the Nephilim, but other ancient texts, like the Book of Enoch, provide more information. The Nephilim were not just large in size, but also powerful and rebellious. They became famous for causing great harm and spreading evil on earth. Their actions were so bad that God decided to send the great flood in Noah's time to destroy them, along with all the corruption they had caused. The Nephilim were seen as the result of angels stepping beyond their boundaries and disobeying God's commands. The Bible suggests that their existence led to a time of great wickedness on earth. In some interpretations, the Nephilim are also thought to represent the mixing of divine and human qualities, which was forbidden by God. As for their legacy, the Nephilim have become a symbol of the dangers of defying God's will. Their story has been passed down through generations, and they are often used as a warning in many religious teachings. Over time, the Nephilim have been linked to other stories of giants and powerful beings in different cultures, showing how their legacy continued to influence the way people understood the forces of good and evil. The story of the Nephilim reminds us that breaking God's rules can lead to destruction, and it shows the consequences of the actions of the fallen angels. Today, the story of the fallen angels continues to have a big impact on both religious beliefs and occult teachings. Different groups interpret the fate of these angels in various ways, seeing them as symbols of evil or dark forces at work in the world. In modern Christian theology, the fallen angels are often seen as demons or agents of Satan. Many Christians believe that these angels, led by Lucifer, were cast out of heaven for rebelling against God. They interpret this fall as the beginning of a spiritual battle between good and evil that continues today. The fallen angels, now known as demons, are thought to tempt people into sin, cause harm, and lead people away from God's truth. Some believe that these demons are active in the world, trying to influence and corrupt humanity. Christians often view the battle against these dark forces as an important part of their faith, believing that through prayer and following God's teachings, they can resist the influence of fallen angels. In contrast, some occult and New Age beliefs interpret the fallen angels differently. Instead of seeing them as purely evil, some people view these beings as misunderstood or even rebellious heroes. These beliefs suggest that the fallen angels, or watchers, gave humanity knowledge that helped humans progress. Some occult traditions believe that the fallen angels' teachings on magic, astrology, and other forbidden knowledge were actually gifts that helped humans evolve spiritually. In this view, the fallen angels are seen as powerful beings who defied a controlling higher power, and their rebellion is seen as a move toward personal freedom and enlightenment. Overall, the way modern beliefs interpret the fate of the fallen angels varies widely. For some, they represent dark forces to be feared and fought against. For others, they are seen as figures of rebellion who brought knowledge and freedom, shaping how people view good and evil in the world today. According to the Bible, there is an eventual day of judgment when the fallen angels and their followers will be held accountable for their rebellion against God. This is a key part of biblical prophecy, showing that there will be a time when God will judge all evil, including the fallen angels who turned away from him. In the New Testament, the book of Revelation talks about the final judgment. Revelation 20:10 says that Satan, who is the leader of the fallen angels, will be thrown into a lake of fire along with his followers. This lake of fire is described as a place of eternal punishment, where Satan and his demons will be tormented forever. This judgment is the ultimate end for all evil forces in the world, and it shows that there will be no escape from God's justice. The Bible also says in 2 Peter 2:4 that the fallen angels who rebelled against God are currently being kept in chains, waiting for their punishment. These angels are being held in a place called Tartarus, which is a dark, prison-like place. They are waiting for the final judgment, when they will be punished for their actions. This shows that while the fallen angels may seem free now, they are actually waiting for the day when they will face God's wrath. The day of reckoning is described in other parts of the Bible as well. In Matthew 25:41, Jesus talks about a time when God will separate the righteous from the wicked, and the wicked will be cast into eternal fire. This includes the fallen angels, and all those who follow them. It is a day when God's perfect justice will be carried out, and evil will be destroyed forever. In summary, according to the Bible, there is a day of reckoning coming for the fallen angels. They will face ultimate judgment, and God's justice will be done. This final judgment is an important part of the Bible's message about the end of evil and the triumph of good. The idea of fallen angels and their influence continues to be a part of our world today. Even though we may not see them with our eyes, many believe that the legacy of these angels still affects us in ways we cannot always understand. According to some religious beliefs, the fallen angels, now known as demons, are still present on earth, working against God's plan and causing harm in various ways. In many cultures and spiritual teachings, there is the belief in spiritual warfare. This is the idea that good and evil forces are constantly at battle in the unseen world. The fallen angels, as demons, are thought to be a part of this battle. They are believed to tempt people into sin, cause suffering, and spread evil. People who experience spiritual struggles, temptations, or even feelings of fear and confusion may attribute these challenges to the ongoing influence of fallen angels. In the modern world, the influence of fallen angels is also seen in the way myths and legends have evolved. Stories of evil spirits, ghosts, and other dark forces often trace back to the idea of fallen angels. These stories continue to capture our imagination and remind us of the belief that there are unseen powers at work around us. Some people also feel that the struggles in their personal lives, such as addiction, fear, or anger, might be influenced by these dark forces. In conclusion, whether through spiritual warfare, demonic influence, or the myths that continue to shape our culture, the legacy of the fallen angels persists in the modern world. While we may not see them directly, their impact is felt in many aspects of life. The ongoing battle between good and evil continues, and the story of the fallen angels reminds us of the forces that seek to lead us away from peace and truth. The story of the fallen angels is one of rebellion, punishment, and mystery. These once powerful beings, who turned away from God and sought to overthrow His authority, have faced consequences for their actions. Some were bound in chains and cast into the abyss, while others roamed the earth as demons, continuing to spread evil and temptation. Their fate shows the seriousness of defying God and the justice that will eventually come to all who oppose Him. The fallen angels' story raises many questions about good and evil, obedience, and the battle between light and darkness. Their rebellion led to their downfall, and their punishment is a reminder that no one is above God's law. But the story doesn't end there. The influence of these fallen beings still affects our world today, whether through spiritual warfare, demonic temptation, or the dark forces found in myths and legends. As we reflect on their fate, we are left to wonder what their story means for us. Are we too facing temptations and struggles that come from these same fallen forces? How can we protect ourselves from their influence and stay on the path of righteousness? And ultimately, what is the greater message in the fallen angel's story for our own lives today? The fate of the fallen angels is a reminder of the consequences of rebellion and the power of God's justice. But it also invites us to think about our own choices and the forces at work around us. The story is far from over, and it challenges us to consider where we stand in the ongoing battle between good and evil. The story of the fallen angels is fascinating, and there's so much more to explore. We've only scratched the surface of this mysterious topic, and your thoughts and perspectives are important. What do you believe happened to the fallen angels? Do you think their influence is still felt today? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If you're interested in diving deeper into topics like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos that explore history, theology, and other intriguing subjects. We'll continue to explore ancient stories, spiritual mysteries, and much more in future episodes. Your engagement helps keep these discussions going and brings new insights to the conversation. So, join us on this journey to uncover the hidden truths of the past, and stay tuned for more thought-provoking content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next video.